This is Win News.
Tonight, homes and businesses feel the brunt of floodwaters at Eugowra. A sudden deluge overwhelms stormwater drains in Cowra. And the management of Burrendong Dam keeps Dubbo safe. Good evening, I'm Jeff Phillips. The Cabonne Shire was hard hit by a major storm damage overnight, skyrocketing the already extensive clean-up bill. 28 homes and businesses were inundated in Eugowra after the Mandadgery Creek peaked at almost 10 metres this morning. The full extent of the damage won't be known until the water subsides.
The fast-flowing Mandadgery Creek peaked at 9.6 metres around 6 this morning, sending water gushing into Main Street businesses and homes on the western side of the creek, cutting the village in two and forcing evacuations. 18 houses and 12 businesses copped the full brunt of the flooding, hitting those affected hard.
Not real good, no. No, it doesn't, especially now. Earlier it doesn't affect you, but after you see it coming down.
Some business owners and residents wanted desperately to survey the damage for themselves, braving the waist-high water to get to their properties. Others were happy to sit at the local pub and watch the water go by after a long, hard morning sandbagging.
They do rally together, everyone knows what to do and they get the job done straight away.
Very long day. We went to bed late last night and we're up again early this morning, and hopefully we beat the flood.
Local business owners say they were well prepared for major flooding. Once the water subsides, there'll be a big clean-up and businesses will be back operating as soon as possible, some say as early as next week. Local resident Bruce Noble has witnessed many floods in the town. In his lifetime, the 1950 and 1990 floods stand out as the biggest, but this one was higher than the flood 5 years ago. He says the town is used to it and they cope.
It is just like that. It isn't a flood that lasts for days at a time, but it'll be up and gone down again in the one day, and people that are used to it are back in business pretty smartly.
This one's sure to be remembered for years to come, especially by the Littleys.
It was pretty up high where the bricks are. Yeah. And it was all in the garden and my goalposts were flooded and all that, and it was pretty cool.
Many other villages in the Cabonne Shire have also been lashed with flash flooding, causing widespread damage.
A lot of damage out around Yeovil Cumnock area. We've got reports so far of 5 bridges that have been affected by the floodwaters.
The damage bill will be tallied up in days to come. Kira Ballinger, Win News.
The Lachlan River at Cowra peaked this morning over the 12-metre mark, which had emergency services on edge. The town as a whole breathed a sigh of relief as the water level dropped, with only minor flooding causing problems.
The Lachlan River at Cowra reached 12.3 metres mid-morning, slightly higher than the predicted 12-metre peak. Some residents moved out as a precaution and the low-lying caravan park was evacuated, but no major floodwater damage was reported.
So we did dodge a bullet. 12.3 was a bit more than was anticipated, but yes, we've probably been quite lucky in terms of it didn't quite get that extra metre, otherwise there could have been some more damage done.
As it was, the Lachlan River in flood was a spectacle for many locals, some foolishly taking a dip in the fast-flowing water. The river at this level has not been seen in Cowra for more than a decade, but several businesses did suffer water damage, Elders and Lachlan Steel among them. This was flash flooding caused by a storm dumping 86 millimetres of rain on the area within 1.5 hours.
I was called at 5:45 this morning and the place is underwater about knee deep, and probably about 10 o'clock I think the whole floor started flooding inside the shop. They sandbagged, but we just couldn't stop it.
The Rural Fire Service had 3 trucks and multiple hoses pumping water from the area.
Well, a lot of the Cowra Shire group that have come in to help assist to try and pump this water down. This isn't actually flood water, it's rainwater that's been caught by the drainage system, and because it can't get out in the river, it's come back up and flooded this area here.
Lachlan Steel will be out of business for at least 2 days. It's estimated thousands of dollars damage has been caused.
The infrastructure stood up reasonably well to the river. Obviously the localised flooding yesterday caused some headaches for some residents with some of the drainage, and some of the roads have been both cut and quite severely damaged.
Okay. Depends on what the weather does to us as to whether what we've done today has been a waste of time or not.
Peter Freestone, Win News.
The overnight storm sent a torrent of water down the Bell River at Wellington and added to the already swollen Macquarie River at Dubbo. Despite the extra water lapping the main Dubbo shopping area, State Water believes the latest storms have proved the dam has protected Dubbo from even more flood damage.
When the band of storm swept through the Wellington Valley overnight, it turned the Bell River into a torrent. Some locals in low-lying areas didn't wait for the SES to ask them to leave their homes last night.
It causes a bit of concern with the Bell River. However, this morning the Bell River is falling. During the night we had 16 self-evacuations of residents.
There were downpours near Mudgee last night where the Cudgegong River is already running at high levels. The only thing standing between that 70,000 megalitres and more flooding at Dubbo is Burrendong Dam. This week's flooding at Dubbo, added to by major releases from Burrendong earlier in the week, have now been justified. It built up the buffer that's now absorbed the impact that would otherwise be created by last night's storms.
We had a significant event through the downstream towns such as Dubbo, Narromine, Warren. Without the dam, they would have been significantly high. If you look at the peak inflow at Burrendong, getting up to 350,000 megalitres a day.
The next flood peak at Dubbo will be lower than earlier in the week and well short of the main street shopping centres.
We're expecting the Macquarie River to peak at about 9.4 metres around about lunchtime tomorrow.
Coonamble too looks set to avoid major damage. A storm there dropped 95 millimetres overnight, but the predicted flood peak of 5.1 metres will be below Monday's levels that led to an evacuation alert. Managers at State Water met late today with councils and members of a community panel to keep local councils in touch as the scale of the next round of releases are planned.
And those communities will say, actually, we're experiencing this sort of level of discomfort or pain. We understand we need to get the dam down, but can we go about it this way?
Alan Reader, WIN News.
There's hope the days of rain might be coming to an end with clear skies forecast for the weekend. Meteorologist from the Weather Channel Tom Saunders says the storms that triggered the flash flooding in Eugowra and other areas produced some very high tallies of rain.
We've had torrential rain and thunderstorms across the central west of New South Wales over the past 24 hours. Cowra, 106 millimetres was recorded there. It's their heaviest rain in 36 years. Coonamble picked up 95 millimetres. Most of that fell in less than 2 hours. That's 2 months' worth of rain in only about 90 minutes. Coonabarabran wasn't far behind with 71 millimetres recorded there. Well, thankfully, the heavy rain and storms has now contracted to northern New South Wales. So for the central west, we're actually going to get sunny weather this weekend. The dry weather will persist early next week as well. The next chance of heavy rain is not until around Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Tom Saunders from the Weather Channel. The constant fall of rain hasn't been all bad news for the region, with Wyangla Dam reaching a milestone 73% capacity today. The increase means the dam has risen 16% in just 3 days, taking it to a level that hasn't been seen for at least a decade. The rise is thanks to a heavy rain falling in the Crookwell catchment area. It's a huge difference from this time last year when it sat at under 5% capacity.